Hello, beautiful humans. I'm Jem Madrone, and today I want to talk about egoic death because we haven't talked about it in a while, and it is the foundation and the roots of this group because it is so often an integral part of the awakening process. And egoic death is a term that was coined, I believe, in the 60s. It's an old term and sometimes comes under debate, or a lot of people have different opinions about, you can't kill the ego, or you shouldn't kill the ego, or you shouldn't try to kill parts of yourself. And it is a term that doesn't really translate directly. We're not trying to kill a part of ourselves. And there are also a lot of opinions about what the ego is. Eckhart Tolle says the ego is any thought that we attach ourselves to. In psychology, the ego is a part of our identity that helps us function in the world. My personal belief and what I bring to the spiritual awakening, how I apply it to spiritual awakening, is that the ego is an illusion. The ego is the separate self. So egoic death is about the death of that illusion, death of the subjective self, the separate self, and then realizing that there's only one self, and it is the eternal self, it is spirit that is inhabiting these bodies right now. And so egoic death can happen as an experience. So when in two ways, egoic death experience and also as a process. And so often we hear about egoic death being connected with an experience, such as an extremely potent spiritual experience with psychedelics or plant medicine. And it also can happen spontaneously or because of extreme trauma or loss. But an egoic death experience is like the universe picking you up, dragging you up to the center of the cosmos and dropping you on your head. And then at that point, you're like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know who I am anymore. I don't know what just happened. Everything that I thought I was, I'm obviously not. There's so much more. And we often walk around in a dazed state for a while, sometimes a blissful state, but egoic death is often so destructive that we feel insane, we feel crazy, and some people do end up on meds or um, in the hospital being treated for mental illness because the doctors don't know what's going on either. And so an egoic death experience is an extreme experience of that loss of separate self, that quick loss of the subjective self. It's like something just got pulled off of you and you're standing there not just naked, but you don't even have a body anymore. And it is quite shocking to say the least. So often when we hear of egoic death, people are often talking about these kinds of experiences. But there's also the process of egoic death, which I believe is very intricately woven in with the awakening process. And this is a much more gentle process where we might have smaller egoic death experiences that aren't quite as extreme, or through the process we don't even realize that we've had these small experiences, but we get to a point where we realize we weren't who we were. We realize that we have a completely different perspective of life and who we are, and that much of the separate self and subjective self has fallen away. And this is actually more common for people, and pretty common for people on the spiritual path that are doing a lot of practices, may or may not have really big, powerful experiences, but over time realize that parts of the ego have been stripped away and we still feel that rawness and we still feel that vulnerability, but also that purity and um, that connection with source that we had been missing or looking for in the past. So um, egoic death is, to me, you can't really move through the awakening process without going through some bit of egoic death. So I often talk about these two together, intertwined and not really separate. So even though in this group we talk so much about awakening and all of the symptoms and phases of awakening, but those go right along with egoic death as well. So they're pretty much the same thing. And I've done quite a few other videos on egoic death and more details of the process. So if you want to see those, let me know and I'll pull them up and tag you in them. We can pull those back out, because the other part of what I wanted to address today, first just to finish up this personal process of egoic death, is first just the importance of it, like I talked about in the awakening process, because we have to lose all of those illusions that the ego is created on, in order for us to really connect with who we are on a deep and authentic level. And so that's why it's essential to the awakening process. And I'm seeing it now on a more global level, and it's pretty exciting to me. And so as we've been going through these earth shattering changes and experiences, starting with COVID, and it just keeps getting more and more and more intense, we've been talking about the parallels with what's happening collectively with the personal process of awakening. And so we're seeing that there is a global awakening, or what some people are calling the Great Awakening, that's happening right now. And so, of course, with what I mentioned before, there has to be an egoic death component to this process. And this pain and confusion that so many people are feeling right now is this global and collective egoic death process. That everything that we thought our culture, or our humanity, or who we are, even as a planet, or what this planet is, all of those things are up for question right now. And many of us do feel like we've been dropped on our head from the center of the cosmos because of what's happening. But this collective process of egoic death is so extremely powerful. And it's powerful because it is creating change on a much more massive level than we've seen before. But as we all know from our personal process, that when we go through this level of change and transformation, it's fucking hard. It's so hard. We feel like we're dying. We feel like we're losing everything. We feel like we don't know what the fuck is going on. And that's exactly what most people on this planet are experiencing right now. And so there is this process of egoic death happening so that we can shake loose all of the illusions and all of the toxicity that have kept us trapped as a people. And this collective energy not just is feeling this change on a global level, but it is also supporting our own process of egoic death, our own process of awakening, because they're completely intertwined. And so now is such an incredible time for us to be doing this work, doing the personal work of this inner transformation, of looking deep, addressing our shadows, peeling back the layers of illusion, and really connecting deeply with who we are on an authentic level as pure spirit. And so just encourage you guys all to keep doing the work. It is so important right now. And if you're struggling with an egoic death experience or struggling with the awakening process and you would like some help and some guidance through it, then please reach out to me and we can talk and see if the work that I do with my clients would be a good fit for you. So I'm sending you all so much love. Thank you guys for listening. And hi to, let's see, Rebecca and Malcolm and anyone else who's here that I can't see at the moment. But I love you all. And if you have any questions, please leave them here in the comments. And I'll see you in the group. Mwah. Have a great day.